Hello friends, welcome to Tutorials, and in this video we are going to discuss about Node.js. So the first question is, what is Node.js? Node.js is an open source and cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment. Normally the beginners get confused. Sometimes they think that Node.js is a programming language. It is not a programming language at all. This is a JavaScript server-side runtime environment. That means JavaScript runs on this, and through Node.js, JavaScript application is executed very faster. So Node.js is a server-side platform built on Google Chrome's JavaScript engine called V8 engine. So what is V8 engine? V8 engine is software which was used primarily in Chrome browser. Later, that same software was also used in Node.js. Node.js was developed by Ryan Dahl in 2009. So let's see just a glimpse what is V8 engine. If you open Chrome browser and you go to developer mode, then here you can see the cursor blinking. If you type here plus this, you can see instantly this one is executed. The total you are showing here, whatever number you are typing, instantly it is displaying here. Just I'm typing some more numbers, you can see it is changing. So how it is working? Because inside Chrome browser V8 engine software is used, and you can see this is really very fast. So same software has been used in Node.js. And as I mentioned before, Node.js was developed by Ryan Dahl in 2009. And in very short span of time, it became very popular. Now, to understand it better, what I've done, I have tried to explain you well that how and what is Node.js. Just let's take an example. To run this train, we need track, right? Without track, this train cannot run. So there are two things here. One is train and another one is track. So now let's go here. You can understand that train requires this track to run. Similarly, to run the JavaScript applications, we need Node.js. So Node.js acts here as a platform or track on which JavaScript code is executed. If we talk about the competitors, which are the competitors of Node.js, so you understand one thing, that Node.js is used as on server, not on client. Okay, Node.js is used on server, not on client. So you can understand that PHP, JSP, ASP.NET, Python can be used as server-side technology or programming language. So same way Node.js will be also, you will be also using Node.js as server-side technology or environment. So in place of PHP, you can use Node.js. In place of JSP, you can use Node.js. ASP.NET and Python, you can use Node.js. So these are the competitors of Node.js. Now let's see some important features of Node.js. Following are some of the important features that make Node.js the first choice of software architects. First one is asynchronous and event driven. Node.js runs in asynchronous way, that is non-blocking. So to understand this, what is synchronous and what is non-synchronous, let's understand this. Let's see here, we have two websites. This is my website, A software, which is built using WordPress. So what happens whenever I click on this, for example, I'm clicking on this, then what happens? It starts executing from here, from left side, and this loads whole page. Even I require this information. I don't require this thing again and again. I don't need all this thing again and again. Header and footer is same. As you can see, for every page, header and footer is same. So what I need, I just need this one, right? But still this header and footer loads because this is synchronous. That means the data loads serially. starting from this 0 point to end, starting to starting to end. Okay, so this kind of data loading, in simple terms I'm explaining you that this kind of data loading process is called synchronous. But I will show you another example which is built using React.js. So if you click here, you can see just this part loads. If you go here, you can see only this part loads. That means what? It is asynchronous. That is asynchronous. That means we don't need to start loading the page from here to end. We don't need to only, for example, one second, I'm clicking here. You can see only this part is loading, right? Not the whole page. That is why this kind of, and this is run through, this is executing JavaScript. Okay, so this kind of loading or this kind of data loading or execution is called asynchronous. Asynchronous, the best example of asynchronous is API, database API, which I will explain later. But in simple term, to understand that what is synchronous and asynchronous, I try to explain you through example. Any website developed using PHP, JSP, this classical type of websites is loaded synchronously starting from this point to end. I need just information about Angular 13, but it is loading header and footer all together. Because header footer is same, then why should it load again and again? But it will load, okay, because this is synchronous. But here I just need travel, only the travel is loading, not the whole page. You can see there is no difference. You can see only this part and this part is loading here, because randomly asynchronously data is taken from here. So that is the example of synchronous and asynchronous. I will further explain this in this video only. It's very fast. The application and API built using Node.js is very fast because it's based on Chrome's V8 engine. As I've explained you earlier, that V8 engine is a software developed by Google, and the same software is used in Google's Chrome browser as well as Node.js. If you want to know more details of the V8 engine, then let's go to its official website. This is Google's V8 engine. So what is this? V8 engine is Google's open source high performance JavaScript engine, which is developed using C++. This software is developed using C++, and you can see used in Chrome and Node.js. The same software V8 engine is used in Chrome and Node.js as well. The second one is single threaded. As you know, Java is multi-threaded. There are other programming languages also which are multi-threaded, but Java, this Node.js is single threaded, and it works on event looping. We will know more about this in same video further. There is another important feature of this, no buffering. What happens normally in classical programming languages like PHP, JSP, or ASP.NET, what happens? Your whole page loads and it is buffered into our computer. It is saved into our computer, and when you open again and again, then it is taken from the buffering. But what happens in Node.js? It is not buffering directly. The data is taken from the server, and it is as you know, the Netflix is one of the most popular data streaming server, and Node.js is used in Netflix. So what happens? The data is not stored in a client's computer or TV. Directly the data is streamed, sent from server bit by bit, and the data is shown into a user's computer or a TV. Node.js is released under MIT license, that is, it is open source. Now the next thing is what we can do with Node.js. Real-time apps like chat servers, normally chat server, there are a lot of chatbot nowadays which is developed using Node.js. Collaborative multi-user apps, for example, game, multi-game. Children nowadays play game, multiple game. So this kind of games is developed using multiple real-time games. So this kind of games is PUBG and such other games is developed using in server background Node.js works. Data streaming servers, as I explained earlier, API for mobile apps. There are a lot of mobile apps. You can create API. Particularly, you will be using this Node.js for API development. Apps that require heavy IO. That means such kind of websites, such kind of mobile apps which requires heavy IO. That means million of thousand of visitors all together visits. For example, Amazon. For example, Walmart or Flipkart. This kind of website you can understand when big billion days or such uh, you know festive season, a lot of users all together connect. So where there is heavy IO in that kind of application, in those kind of websites, Node.js is used. Apps that require high degree of scalability. That means the apps which require high degree of scalability. That means such kind of application which can be extended requires extension. So in such kind of a website or application, we do use Node.js. The last one is apps that require persistent connection to the server. Persistent connection means when you are doing chat. Okay, so what happens if you're typing something, then your connection is disconnected. So there is problem. Once again, there will be connection, disconnection, connection, disconnection. But using Node.js chatbot or such kind of chatting software, the connection is not disconnected. The connection is persistent. So in that kind of application, Node.js is used. Now, once again, we are getting back to Node.js structure, that how Node.js works. So as I've explained you earlier, that V8 engine is working behind the Node.js. That means Node.js is the main component of Node.js which executes the JavaScript application faster. So if we now uh, further try to understand it, then you just understand it. This is Node.js. Okay, so Node.js, if you further divide, what happens here? Node.js is, this V8 engine is fine, but this is not enough. We require to access the operating system libuv abstraction layer. That means this software, this library is also required to access the operating system hardware interaction. We require this one. Okay, so we can say that V8 engine plus libuv, this library, then completes the Node.js. So we can say, in other words, we can say Node.js is composed of, Node.js is built using these two, V8 engine as well as libuv. What is libuv? I will explain further. Now let's understand here. Node.js runtime has several dependencies, and the most important ones is V8 engine and libuv. I've already explained further. V8 engine is what converts JavaScript into machine language. This is the main work of V8 engine. We have been talking about V8 engine, but what is the function of V8 engine? Actually, this converts the JavaScript code into machine understanding language that the computer can understand. For example, you are writing console.log. Okay, that console.log is converted into machine language, and it explains to the machine, and then machine understands. Okay, so this is the main work of V8 engine. But this V8 engine is not sufficient for Node.js. So what is required? The further we require libuv is an open source library with a strong focus on asynchronous data. I've already shown you with example what is asynchronous. That means input output, and data is sent and received asynchronously. This layer is what gives Node.js access to underlying computer operating system. I've already explained you that Node.js converts the language into machine language, but that is not enough. Node.js requires a library called libuv, which is responsible for interacting with operating system. For example, Windows 10, Windows 11, or Linux operating system, Mac OS. Okay, so these kind of operating system to interact with the operating system, to access the file system, networking, and other such kind of words, libuv is responsible. Libuv also implements two extremely important features of Node.js, which is loop and thread pull, which I will explain further. Now let's understand with simple example what is IO and how this IO features non-blocking works. Where I'm talking about non-blocking, right? Non-blocking. This is also called asynchronous. So synchronous executions work in blocking way. Understand? Synchronous execution works in blocking way. I will explain with this example. In other words, if any part of the program is taking more time, then the rest of the below code should wait until the first code is executed. Let's take example PHP code. What I'm doing, this is customers table. Okay, from customers table there are thousands of records. This 10,000 records. Then it will execute here, start running. So it will show first name, last name, email, then again first name, last name, email, this. Okay, so what will happen, 10,000 records first will run, then this simple one line message will print. Just understand, first it will print 10,000 line, then it will print this one, then it will print this one. So it is not good because this is only one line. I'm just giving an example. Suppose you have gone to any shop. Okay, there is a guy, they have a long list of articles. Now you just need a matchbox, you just need a matchbox. So what will shopkeeper do, he will, though you have come later, but another guy has already given the long list of articles. So the wise shopkeeper, the smart shopkeeper, what it will do, just he will give you a matchbox so that you will easily leave the shop and there will be no crowd. So same way, but in blocking where what happens, no, that guy has come first, I will give him complete list of articles only, then I will give you the matchbox. Then what he will think, what kind of shopkeeper he is, he should have just given me one matchbox, I would have left the shop. So PHP, JSP, and such classical previous programming languages works this way. First it will serve this and only then. So this process is called blocking or synchronous programming language. Okay, so what will happen? Kareem, Rahim, Sonu, Nisa, then end of message. This will show later. Okay. Now let's talk about asynchronous. Okay, where we will talk here this asynchronous. Now let's see the same example here. The database query is taken from this customers table. Okay, so in Node.js way, data is showing here, and then end users. This is the last message. So once again here there is 10,000 customers. Okay, then what it will do, like a smart, like a wise customer, what it will do, it is seeing that okay, this is just one line of code, why not print this one first. So this through event loop, I will explain that further. Through event loop, Node.js just smart, and what it will do, it will print this first end users. Why? Because this is simple one line, it is working in non-blocking. PHP code or such other programming languages, what does it do? No, I will print first because he has come the first. This customer has come first, so I will print whole 10,000 list. Only then I will print this. But no, Node.js is smart. It works on asynchronous way, and what it will do, which is smaller, which will not take much time, it will print this one first, and then it will print the bigger one later. So that is why this is faster. I have explained in previously that it works on event loop, which is a part of libuv library, right? So what does it do? There is a non-blocking event loop. It keeps running here. It keeps running here and keep checking which one will take less time. So sometimes it go to database query, sometimes file reading, sometimes IO. That means this is like a, in shop there is a main owner sitting there. He said, oh, uh, any servant or any staff, okay, you give this article, you give this article, you give this article. He keeps watching. So same way, this one is sitting here, this event loop, and it checks which one should go first. Then it sends here database query. Then it sends to file reading. This sends to network. So this works as a non-blocking way. That means I've explained you before that it works as a non-blocking. So how it works as a non-blocking? This is the non-blocking event loop called event loop, as I explained before, that is a part of libuv library. So it keeps watching which one requires less time. So it keeps sending first that one. So this way it works faster and asynchronous way. If you remember, I had explained before, I had mentioned before that JavaScript or Node.js is a single threaded, not a multi-threaded. Okay, as I mentioned before, that Java is a multi-threaded programming language. So what happens in multi-threaded? Suppose there is any data or task. It is distributed into part. Okay, this is one thread, second thread, third thread, fourth thread. So data is broken into part. So what happens, as I explained you before, that data is broken into chunks, part by part, and then it sends in different parts. But here you see carefully two things. The first one is green section, activity. You see here, the green section is activity, and this is blocking or idle. That means some work is being done here, but CPU is idle, which is showing you red. Okay, this work, this work, this idle, this idle, this work, this. So green part is work done, and this red section is blocking way. That means this red section cannot be used by other application because it has blocked. You take one example in pipe. You might have seen pipe. What happens? Water is flowing, water is going there. Okay, and in between there is air. So air takes unnecessary space. What another water cannot be inserted into that. Okay, so same way here, the work is going on here. The CPU is idle. This blank space, this blank memory space cannot be used by another. So that is problem of multi-threading. This is good, but this is blocking way. That means what? The unnecessary part is blocked. So this problem is solved by Node.js. Now let's see here this example. Data, what happens here? This one is the green section is activity and CPU idle and available for other tasks. The white section is available. That means this work is this has taken space. Now this one is available. That means this space can be used by other application. This one is occupied. This can be used by other application. This is occupied. So this way, this is the benefit of uh, single uh, threaded, and this is handled by event loop. This is handled by event loop. I have already explained about that. That what does event loop do? Event loop keeps checking which one is blocking. Okay, so this one work is going on, but event loop will checks instantly. Okay, this is blank, idle, so it will be assigned another task. It will check which is blank. Okay, so this one is idle, let's assign another task. That means event loop keep checking which is blank and where the work is going on. So this way the work is done faster, and CPU is also not left blank idle. So guys, this was whole theory of what is Node.js and how Node.js works. In next chapter, I will explain and I will show you how to do practical things and how to install Node.js. So let's wait for the next chapter. Hello friends, welcome back. And in this section, we will install Node.js on Windows Server. I have already explained in previous section what is Node.js, and in this one we will do the practical thing. So what we need to do is, first let's type Node.js download. I will show you with practical example better. Let's go here and then Node.js download. If you go you will see this one. By the time this video is recorded, this version is LTS. LTS, as you can see, there are two versions here, LTS and current one. Current one is not stable. LTS means long time support. That is, this one is tested, and this one is stable. So try to always install this one. But in case if you want to experiment, in that case you can use this one, current one. And also you can see there are different operating system, for example Windows and Mac OS X if you have. Then you can install Linux also, there are different versions here. So you, in case you have Windows also, if your operating system is 64-bit, then you can use this one. If your operating system 32 bits, then you can use this one, the latest one. In almost all computer, normally there is 64-bit operating system. So now it's downloaded, as you can see. And then double click from here, it will start installing. Okay, like this. So guys, in my computer, in my this laptop, already Node.js installed. So once you complete the installation of Node.js, then I'm just aborting this because I've already installed it. Previously I work on different programming languages like libraries also. So once you finish this, then what will happen, you open here command prompt and write cmd. You can see Node.js command prompt, you will see this one. Okay, just click on this. And then if you want to check which version of Node.js installed in your computer, so what you need to do, node then hyphen v, you type here node hyphen v, then press enter. It will show you the current version of Node, the installed version of Node.js. So it is, as you can see in my laptop, it is showing 16.16.0, which is the LTS version. It is 16.18, so mine one is 16.16. That means there is a bit older, but it's fine. In Node.js there is REPL, or read evaluate print line. Through command line you can perform some task quickly. If you remember, I had shown you one thing here. If I type 4 plus 4, instantly it shows you 8. Same, I had already explained you that same V8 engine is used in Node also. So here also, if I type Node, first you need to type Node, okay, then you enter into Node environment. Now your Node started. Here 4 plus 4, instantly you can see it is displaying you 8. So guys, you can see, as I explained you in the beginning, that same V8 engine is used here in Node as well as Chrome browser. So you can see how instantly it is adding same thing. If you do, it happens same thing here. Okay, so this is called REPL, or read print and evaluate. Now if you want to go outside, then simply type exit, or simply press Ctrl C, break, then you will go outside. Ctrl C 2 times. Now let's go a bit further. So now Node.js server, which is the main work of Node.js, guys. We will create Node.js very small server, and step by step I will show you that how this whole application works. So watch this video carefully till end, then you will understand that how Node.js works. Okay, so Node.js is built-in module called HTTP. Node.js, when you install Node.js, there are several modules installed, and some of the modules are built in. So when you install Node.js, automatically that module is installed. Some module we will install later and call that. Okay, and one of the very important module which is built in, and that is HTTP module, this one. Okay, apart from that, there are a lot of external modules also which can be installed and called. Okay, so from npm server we will install a lot of other module as well. So now we will know further that what is this HTTP module actually. This HTTP module, this is very important, always we have to use this. So as I explained you before, that HTTP module is built, this is inbuilt module of Node.js. through this module, Node.js sends and receives data over HTTP protocol. That means through HTTP, data is sent and received to API and from API. Okay, we need to use require function to call this module. Okay, now let's move further. Like this, we will have to call. If you come from PHP, then you know include we normally use, right? And in other programming also there is different technique, but here we need to write here. We have to declare on variables. You can name it any whatever you want. So we are writing here where then require method. Inside require we will call this HTTP module. So what happens here? This HTTP module create HTTP server that can listen to server ports and gives response back to the client. So the function is create server. Through create server, we can create server which is used to create HTTP server. How? Let's see. So this is very simple example of creating server. Yes, through Node.js we can create server. So there are two parts. One is client and one is server, which you need to understand it very well. Let me show you what is client and server. I have typed this web address. I have typed this web address. Okay, I'm client. This computer is client. Okay, because I'm requesting to the server that give me page of this web address. Okay, when I press enter, that means I'm client and I requested to the server. Then server listened to my request. Server listened to my request, and then after that he served me this page. So guys, two things are involved here. What happened here? When I typed this web address and pressed enter, that is one part, that is client. Okay, I'm a client, this computer is client, but this file, you can understand, this file is not into this computer. This file is sent from server. Okay, so wherever this file is uh, kept, that one is called server, and any computer which will try to open this web address will be called client. Okay, so this is very practical example of client and server. Okay, what happens in server? There is different port. There are different port. Okay, so that post listens. For example, you are going to any say mall. There are different security guard there for different purposes. You will ask or to one security guard, then he will provide you another information. If you ask from another one, so there is another security guard. So same way in server also there are different port number. Okay, so based on port number, so you can also uh, assign your own port in Node.js. Okay, so now let's get back to this code. Now come back to this code. What happened? I created this HTTP module server, HTTP, and now HTTP dot create server. Through this, we are creating a server which require two things: request and response. So guys, just I displayed you when I opened that website and pressed enter. So this is the first part, request. I requested the file from server, right? And the file, that means the website which was sent from the server, this is response. Okay, when I pressed enter, once again let me show you that example so that you can understand better. Request and response, there are two. So there are two parts involved here. The first one is request. This is request, req. Okay, and guys, when this file is served, that is the response. Okay, when you press enter for this website, that is request, and when the file is sent, that is response. Okay, so hope up to this you understand it, what is the request response is. This is request and response. Okay, now in response what it will show? In example you have seen the website is giving me back, but here I'm creating my own server. So what it will give? Something must it will provide. So response dot write hello world. This is very basic example. but very important to understand as well. Hello world, what it will print? Hello world, right? Then response.send, first it will create here and then it will send back to the client. Response.send, and port number is at I just explained you before. I'm providing here port number, so on which port number it will display. So I'm providing here 3000 port number. You can provide whatever port number you write, for example 80809090 000, whatever you want you can see. So guys, now let me show you with practical example. Okay, now I will open here Visual Studio Code. In case if you have not installed Visual Studio Code, then let me show you. You go here and write Visual Studio Code download. Spelling mistake. Okay, this one. This is open source and free as well. Just go here and then download from here. Okay, it started to download. Visual Studio Code is very good for intelligence. That means when you type something like this, then it will show you the code, so that you have to, in short time, you can write more code. And this Visual Studio Code is especially for JavaScript or Node.js, this kind of application. So when you open this, then accept the next. So this way you can install this, guys. As you can see, it is already installed in my laptop, so I'm not going to install this, but you can install. After installation you can see this. So let's do one thing. Let's create one file here called hello.js. Okay. Oh, it's opening. No, no, actually I need to create this one. Not new file. Just type here hello.js. Then now it will ask me to save, where to save. Okay, it was fine. So what I will do, let's do, just I will go to my E drive and let me type here. Let's create one folder called Node.js tutorial, Node.js tutorial. Okay, I'll just name it, and then hello.js. I'll just save it, create a file. Okay, and then I will paste that code which I was just explaining you. So you can see first line is require this one, then HTTP create server, this is request and response, and this is request.write. That means this message will be sent from server. The client is requesting and server will send. So what it will send? It will send this message respond.write and respond.end. Finally, once the data is sent, and it will end, and on which port it will show? Port number 3000. So now if you want to check this into the browser, so what I will do, I have to do first, I need to start the server. So let's go here in E drive and then cd node.js tutorial, and then this is my file hello.js, right? So what I'll do, node hello.js. That means what? I'm telling to the node that okay, execute this file. So press enter, and then the server started. So what I'll do, let's go here and then type localhost and then its port number. Okay, port number we have provided 3000, right? Press enter, and guys, wow, you can see the message display. So guys, successfully you have created your own server through Node.js, and it is executing perfectly, you can see. Now we will discuss about HTTP header. if the response from the HTTP server is supposed to be displayed as HTML, you should include an HTTP header. Okay, what happens when the data is sent from the server? Then there is certain type. For example, if you are opening an image, then the content type is image. When you are opening an HTML page, that means the content type is. So what happens actually, before sending the data to our browser, first it sends the header. It sends the header to the browser, and it tells that okay, going to give you. You might have seen in movies normally what happens, that any king is coming, then before coming to the king, some servant comes and says okay, the king is coming. Okay, so same way here what happens, the when the data comes, data is sent from the server, data is sent from the server, then before sending, headers come, its representative comes to the browser and tells that okay, you are going to receive image, you are going to receive HTML page. So that is called header. Okay, so for that what we need to do here, you can see this is same. We are creating this HTTP module and then create server, request and response. Same here, we are writing response.write head, and then this is port number, this is success. If your status, this is called status code. Okay, I will explain you, there are different status code. So if the status code is 200, that means successful. And content type, what it will be, text HTML. This is mixed. Okay, and so before displaying this message, server will first tell to the browser that okay, I'm going to give you the file which is mixed of text and HTML. Okay, then this data will display. So that is the work of uh, header. So what we need to response dot write head, and then this one, the response code is 200. Then so guys, there is the list of here is the list of different response code. If there is 200, that means success. Okay, if 500, that means server error, there is something problem in server. Okay, if there is 404, that means the data or file is not found. If there is 503, then there is normally server script, the error in your script. Okay, so these are important codes. So that is why in, so here we had written here 200, that means if the data is successfully sent from the server. That's why we are putting here code. So now let's see this example. Just let's change it, and then this time let's keep the same 3000. We don't need to change. Again I will control C, and you have to restart the server again. So it started, and then if I open, refresh, then guys you can see it is white. Why? Because earlier one, it was not defined what kind of data it was. As soon as I refreshed it, you can see this is now HTML page. That is why you can see it is showing in a HTML format. So you can understand how important it is to write here the response code and also the right head, that means header, how important it is, you can understand. And in the next section, we will see what is query string in Node.js and how that works. So guys, still if you have not subscribed my channel, then please subscribe and also press the bell button and like the video if you really like it. So friends, in this part, I will explain you about query string. So what happens actually, query string, after this is the root, this is the main path, right? After this is called query string. So whatever forward slash, so generally what happens here, id 2 or 3 is passed, something like this. Okay, so after the main path, whatever is written here is normally called query string. Okay, In Node.js also, if you come from PHP background, then you might have understood what query string is all about. Normally after question mark, there is some additional information, so that is called query string. Or in case you are directly learning this Node.js, then still you won't have problem understanding this. So after this main part, we write something, some data, and that is called query string. So we will see in Node.js that how query string works and how we can fetch this data and display into our page. So there are built-in modules, just like HTTP modules. There is built-in modules to easily split the query string into readable parts, such as URL module. Now let's see this example here. You are already familiar now with this HTTP module. Now we will use this URL module, which will help us to fetch the query and split the query string and display the data. Also, you are already familiar with this HTTP module in create server, request response, and this right head I've already explained. And then this one, this URL is required. So already you know, and this right head I've already explained also about this. And now here is the main point. We are declaring a variable called q, so you can name it whatever you like. Then URL dot parse. This method is used to fetch the query. So request dot URL, then we need to provide here true and then query. So this is the syntax. This is the complete syntax to fetch the query. So let's see with the example. Let's create here another file. Just let's paste. Then I will name it as url.js. Okay, and let's keep it 3000 only. So two modules we have included here, and then the main thing is, as I explained to you, url.parse. And so here let's query dot name, and I'll just put it address. Okay, 2 points I'm going to add here, and we will display the data here. So let's go and open here, refresh it, and yes, we need to once again. So the file name is node url.js, right? Okay, our server is started. Now let's refresh. Undefined and defined, it is saying why? Because we have not passed any data. Okay, so now let's put here query string forward slash and then question mark and name equals to Umar and this ampersand and address equal to Kolkata. So guys, you can see this data and which I am passing here. This is called query string. So after this question mark, this is query string. Okay, so this name is fetching here, spelling mistake, and then address data is displaying here. If you come from PHP background, then you might be knowing $get. Normally we get this value using $get, but in Node.js we have to write this code to fetch the data. So this is the main magic. This one, using this URL module, we are just url.parse. You need to write this one and request.url and then tree and then query. So data is coming here, and after that just query that name, so whatever field name is, and then whatever field name is. So using this we can display here respond.end and finally this text. So guys, you can display the query string like that. So that's it in this query string section, and in the next chapter we will see about file system in Node.js. And in this chapter of Node.js file system, I will show you how to read, how to create, how to delete file system. Normally what happens, what we do, we manually create the file, we write something, we modify something, and sometimes we delete the file which is not required. But we can do the same thing programmatically using Node.js. So in this section of this video, you will learn how to create the file or how to read the content of the file or how to delete unnecessary file from our operating system. So once again, there is module called fs which we need to require, that means file system. So here we will do fs.read file test file.txt. Then if there is any error, then it will show error or else the data. If error, throw error console.log data, or else finally it will show the data. That means what we are doing, we will create a file here test file.txt, and whatever data will be, it will be stored here, the data, and finally it will display here. If there is any error, then it will show the error here. So let's see the practical example. Now let's go to here, let's create one file fread.js, and finally fread.js. Okay, and then we will create this file test file.txt. And here we will write hello world from Node.js. Now let's go here and then break Control C node and f-read.js. Okay, so as you can see, it is showing the junk character, right? Because we have not specified here the Unicode character. That means we have to specify here Unicode character, because as you know, the text is read in Unicode format. So we will just provide here Unicode format, and then it will display the exact data. So let's just see this. What happens here? UTF-8 we need to provide here. Apart from that, we will read the data synchronously. Okay, so we'll write here read file sync. So just let's change this long code to the short. So what we will write here, read file sync, then test file dot this test file dot txt. This one. So now you can see it is simpler. Also, we don't need this. So what is happening here? The data, this file will be read synchronously and with this Unicode format. Now if we refresh here and check, then you can see the data what we have written here, hello world from Node.js. You can see hello world from Node.js, this data is displayed. So guys, you can see successfully we have shown the data. So what we need to do, fs, that means this file system module dot read file sync, and then UTF character 8, this is character code, we need to provide this, then the data is displaying here successfully into the console. Okay, now that we have read the data from the file which we had created, now what we will do, we will create the file. We will create the file programmatically. So the code is fs.write file. This is the important thing. This function we will use write file and then test.txt. So whatever file name you want to put here, you can name it, and then data which we will write there, we will write hello world. In this file, this data will be written here. If there is any error, then this, or else it will say operation successfully completed. Now let's see. So let's create another one, fwrite.js. We will name it as fwrite.js. Now let's go here and then node fwrite.js. You can see write operation complete. So now we have to go to the folder, and then we can see this file created, test.txt. If we open this file, then you can see hello world is successfully written here. So guys, successfully with this write file, we have written this text into the file. So through this we have read the file, and through this we have created the file. Suppose now the file already exists, this test.file already exists. Now we want to append some data, add some data, not overwrite. In that case, what we will have to do? So for that, simply we need to write here append function. Just copy this and paste here. Let's just remove it. Append file, just I'm commenting this line. Okay, so fs.append, the only difference is rather than write we will append. So hello world was already there, I will write here. Now add this line also. After hello world, this text should be appended into this test file.txt. So let's do one thing. Let's check here, going into the file. Let's open this test.txt. Guys, you can see hello world, and after this the new text is successfully added here. Now in the last section, suppose you don't need that file, then we can simply unlink. Using the function unlink, we can delete the file successfully. Okay, so just let's write this code. So just we have written here, created new file called r.delete.js. So what will happen? This test.txt file, which already exists in our, which we had just created, this needs to be deleted here. So node r delete.js. Now if you check, the test.txt file is successfully deleted from the list. That file does not exist. So guys, what you learned: how to read the file, how to write the file, how to append the file, and how to delete the file successfully through Node.js, using Node.js programmatically. Okay, so that's it in this chapter, and in the next chapter we will see further. So stay connected for next chapter. Hello friends, in this chapter we will discuss about event emitter in Node.js. Whatever we do on our computer is an event. For example, just click mouse, that is an event. If I try to open any file, that is event. So what happens when we try to open any file, then a connection is made, so that is an event itself. So objects in Node.js can fire events like the read stream object fires events when opening and closing the file. So let's see the example. So we will see in this chapter event emitter, that how event work, because I have already discussed about event loop, if you remember event loop. Okay, so how this event works in Node.js. So now let's create a file here. We will call it event.js. And we need to create a file as well, this test.txt. test.txt. Let's write something here, simply hello world. We have already created this kind of file, but what the purpose is here to show that this is showing here, that means what? An event generated. So what is the event? Just creating the file system, that means reading this file system. Okay, so now let's try to open it. The name is event.js, right? Node event.js. the file is open. So you might be wondering what is new in this, because we had already created this kind of file. The thing is that what I'm trying to show you here is that an event generated. What happened here? Event generated, that means file open, that is an event itself. Okay, so here event generated. Now we will see it with more detail. In Node.js, we have special module called event module. So like HTTP module, Node.js has its own built-in module called events, where we can create, fire and listen our own custom events. We have to include event module through require module method. In addition, all event properties and methods are instances of the event emitter object. To be able to access this property and methods, create an event emitter object. Now let's see one example. I'll explain the code one by one. So events event2.js. What happens here? We are including here, we create an instance of this object events, and then where event emitter, new event emitter, we are creating new event here, right? And then my event handler, that means we are creating an event here, custom event, my event handler function console.log. This is an event, custom event. Now event emitter, that means this one, dot on my event, then event emitter handler, this one. And finally we are calling this custom event, that means my event here. So this event, so what happens here? Through this events module, first what we have done, we have created our, it is possible that you might not be able to understand this fully, but let's try to understand this, because I will show you with another example as well. What I'm doing here, first I included this one, right? Then created an object of this event emitter, okay, this one. Now I created my custom event which I will use later. So what I did, I assigned this one, I called this event here and named it as my event. Now we will fire this event so that this message should show here. So let's go and event2.js, let's open here. Node event2.js. Now you can see this is first event. So this event actually fired from event emitter.on. This custom event we have fired here successfully. Now let's understand this with second example. What we are doing here, we require events, then event emitter. We are just writing this in one line. What we had done, we had created this before, right? So in this case, you can directly write like this one also, events. Now em new emitter, em dot add listener, we are subscribing this event, okay? Em dot add listener, first event, and then first customer. Second one is em dot on, second customer. Now we will raise the event. So em dot emit, whatever event we have generated, it will display here. So we are calling actually this event here and this event here. Normally when you write a big program, big coding, okay, for server, for event generation, in that case normally this is used, not for a small program, but at least you can understand that what happens here. Event module we have to create, then we have to create event emitter. This is a class, okay, so we are creating the object of that class, and then finally we are creating our own event and we are displaying that event here. So there are three stages. First we are calling the event. Second step is we are creating the event, and the third step is we are calling the event, generating the event or emitting the event. So that's it in this video, guys, and That's it. This is. And in further videos, we will discuss about frameworks of Node.js. So you should also watch that video, framework of Node.js. And particularly, we will be discussing about Express.js. So thank you for watching. Still, if you have not subscribed the channel, then I recommend you to subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.